Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the Black Financial Channel. I want to talk about Jeff Bezos and Amazon. Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos is getting some heat right now because he's being accused of basically partying while his workers died at a factory that was hit by a tornado. This is a problem for Bezos. I think it could get ugly. So, we're going to break some of this down and talk about Jeff Bezos, talk about Amazon, talk about workers' rights and what we should all think about this. So buckle up, seatbelt, get comfortable. We're going to get started on the Black Financial Channel right now. Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the Black Financial Channel. That's theblackfinancialchannel.com. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I'm your friendly neighborhood finance professor. On the Black Financial Channel, we talk about Black wealth and Black economics every single day under one condition. The condition is that we are Black first. Black first means we put our community at the top of our priority list. Black first means that we are winners and not losers. Black first means that we put our children ahead of the curve by giving them wealth education at an early age. Black first means that we believe Black people can do anything and that there is nothing that we need an oppressor to do for us. We can do it ourselves. So if you think that what I believe is okay, and if you believe the same thing, then put a hashtag B and the number one in the chat. Hashtag B1 is the calling card. How you doing, Christopher and Max and AMK and Nathaniel and K John and RC and Christopher Lyles? I thought that today would be an appropriate time to talk about a guy named Jeff Bezos. Now, you guys have heard me talk about Bezos before. He's the CEO and founder of Amazon.com. I'm not a hater of Jeff Bezos. I actually read his autobiography and I found it to be quite impressive. I think that Black people can learn a little bit about how to create powerful children by looking at how Jeff Bezos was raised by his family. Jeff Bezos is big on two things that made him very wealthy. One is technology, the second is entrepreneurship. One without the other probably would not have worked. Technology and entrepreneurship. So, our son is now a freshman in college and he's studying engineering, and his minor is entrepreneurship. And I said, man, if you learn technology and systems and you also know how to scale it through entrepreneurship and ownership, you will probably be a multimillionaire and may even get a chance to be a billionaire. So I start off by saying, I don't hate Jeff Bezos. I don't. I think Amazon, their business model is exceedingly rational and brilliant to some extent. But then again, sometimes there's a place where you got to draw the line. There's a point where you got to kind of talk about what you need to talk about. And one of the issues that Bezos is having right now is that there was this terrible tornado that happened. Give me a yes or no if you heard about the tornado that hit the Amazon facility. It was in Illinois, but let me just tell you, it wasn't just Illinois. It also hit my state of Kentucky. It hit a lot of other places, and in fact, there was one block where literally 7 children died on that one block, right? And I think that that's tragic. Now, I want you to pay attention, though. Don't forget, as Black people, there are many blocks in places like Southside Chicago where a lot of children are dying too. So it doesn't mean we care we don't care about other people's children, but you got to care about your children too. So the same way we're sad about the 7 children that died in the tornado, we have to be sad about the 7 children who died last month of gunshot wounds in Chicago. Okay, so let's make sure that we keep that in our hearts as well. But yeah, the Amazon facility got body slammed. It really got hit hard. There were workers there, over 100 workers, a lot of injuries, a lot of chaos. And what is going on now with Bezos is there's a claim. Again, I'm not going to say that this is true or not true, but there is a claim that Bezos that he was actually partying at his mansion, while these individuals were dead, while these people were dying and recovering from all the chaos. Now, is that really the case, or is that sort of an exaggeration? Nobody really knows, but I will say that they've been criticized heavily for worker safety. Amazon's been getting hit very, very hard as it pertains to workers' rights. They are very much against unions. So people have begun to politicize the issue. You have people like Elizabeth Warren, who has been in a war. I mean, a big war with the wealthiest. Elon Musk is another guy who's actually going head to head with Elizabeth Warren, who wants to tax the rich. And let me just tell you, I like Bezos and Musk. I told you I like these guys, but you have a country that is having an exceedingly disturbing amount of economic inequality that's going to end up destroying this nation. When you have guys sitting on hundreds of billions of dollars and you're not taxing them, that clearly says something's wrong with your system. I get it, right? They're brilliant, they're smart, they work the system. They work the system. So you don't have to vilify Musk and Bezos to say that the system has a problem, right? So the problem is not the men who work the system. I think the problem is the system. So as much as Elizabeth Warren, who got into a back and forth with Elon Musk about this wealth inequality thing and about how the billionaires aren't paying their fair share and stuff like that, I agree. At the same time, she has to look at herself and her colleagues and say, why aren't you moving? Why aren't you changing the laws? Why aren't you reforming taxation so that these individuals get taxed? In fact, it's well, I'll tell you why. Actually, I'm not even going to ask you why. I'm going to tell you why. The reason why is because your system's a joke. It's a joke. And Elon Musk knows it's a joke. Elon Musk knows that it's all a joke because he makes fun of Elizabeth Warren. Yeah. Did anybody see? Give me a yes or no if you saw this. Warren tweeted something about how Elon Musk's wealth is it's despicable that he doesn't pay taxes and blah 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 blah. And he literally tweeted back something crazy like you remind me of my friend's mom who would start yelling for no reason in the grocery store or something. And then he said something like, Karen, please don't call the police on me or something, right? He was making fun of her. Now the reason I thought that was really interesting is because, one, it reminds us that Elon Musk, as a smart man, knows that the system's a joke. But then two, now I want you to pay attention. Now Elon Musk makes major bread in China. He sells a lot of Teslas in China. Give me a yes or no. Give me a yes or no. Based on y'all listen to this channel, y'all know a little bit about how I think. What do you think? If you were to ask me, Dr. Boyce, do you think that Elon Musk will ever mouth off to the president of China or to the leadership of China? Give me a yes or no. What do you think? Do you think Elon Musk would talk to the Chinese leadership the same way he talks to American politicians? Answer that question in the chat for me. Yes or no? Yes or no? Well, the answer isn't just a big no. It isn't just a big fat no. The answer is hell to the no. Hell to the no. Hell to the no, no. Hell to the no, no, no. Because if he were to mouth off to the Chinese leadership the way he mouths off to the American leadership, the way he makes fun of the Securities and Exchange Commission, the way he makes jokes about Elizabeth Warren, the Chinese would lock his ass up. He would go for a visit to Shanghai and never come back, never to be seen, not to be seen for another 6 months until he came out with a massive apology and a $100 billion fine. The Chinese don't play that. And why do I bring that up? Why you might say, why, Boyce? Why are you bringing all this up? I bring this up because a lot of the reason that these billionaires are allowed to become robber barons in America is because our politicians are a joke. Our political system is a joke. Your politicians are owned by the corporations, so they are paper tigers. They are literally, they're literally like the hall monitors that say, you got to go to class, and nobody, respects the hall monitor because the hall monitor has no real authority. They have fake authority, right? The drug dealers are running the police station. So when you call the police on the kids on the block selling dope, you're really calling the dope dealer to tell them that you're the snitch that they need to take out next week. So the point of the matter is to say that a lot of this is really complex and it's interesting. I think it's just brutally unfair. I mean, if you could just go back to Bezos, right, and you go back to, sort of what I've observed with Bezos and Amazon. Bezos has a major image problem. Bezos, he's become the poster child for wealth inequality. He during the pandemic, Amazon made money hand over fist. When a lot of people were suffering economically, you saw his wealth rise by hundreds of billions of dollars. It takes a lifetime to even imagine making $1 billion. This man made several $100 billion. He was literally making about, I want to say it was some ridiculous amount of money, like $50 million a day or something, but it might have been, it was probably more than that actually. I want to say over $100 million a day, but that number just sounds so outrageous that I almost think it's weird to even say this out loud, right? Maybe I got to go back and do the math again to to make sure to see what what $100 billion is divided by 365. Let me pull out my calculator. Hit the thumbs up button and let me know. Give me a yes if you can still hear me. Give me a yes if you can still hear me. So 100 divided by 365 is 0.27. So what is 0.27 of 100 billion of a billion? So it's about 200, about a quarter of $1 billion a day. That's crazy. That's crazy. No human being should be making that much money. Nobody should be making that much money. So what you're really seeing here with Bezos is I see a lot of strategy with him. He's very logical. He's very intelligent. He built Amazon into a massive company because he's a very smart guy. And I see a lot of your children who are good with computers and stuff like that. And I want to encourage you not to just train them to go and work for white people as engineers. I want you to train them to become entrepreneurs so they can take their engineering ability and scale it. When I got my PhD in finance, the people that were best at finance were the engineers. When we were in class with the engineers always knew how to do the math homework. So when you have your children who are really good with math and science and all that, don't just train them to be good employees. Give them that option. Sure, there's no shame in being an employee, but there is a problem being an employee when you could have been a boss. There is a problem with getting one job when you could have went out and created 1,000 jobs for your people. There is a shame in realizing that you're making 120,000 a year when you could have been making $12 million a year. So I want your kids to reach their potential. So while I critique Bezos, and you know me, I give an honest reflection. So sometimes I confuse people. Small-minded people get confused when they come on this channel because they think that I'm a hater. They either think I'm a hater or a lover of things, and I'm not a hater or a lover. I am a what I believe an objective evaluator. And so with Bezos, what I see is good and bad, shades of gray. The man is brilliant. The man is great. The man's extraordinary. Everybody that criticizes him should understand you had the same opportunity he had to go out here and start a company just like he did and to struggle and grind and make no money for many years like he did. And if you go back and you look at early pictures of Amazon, if you look at what Amazon looked like back in the day, a lot of y'all, got these cushy jobs and y'all wouldn't have wanted to go through what Bezos was going through when he started Amazon. You wouldn't have because he was losing money. He was in a raggedy little office and he wasn't lit. He didn't look like a rapper. He didn't have gold chains and women everywhere. He was grinding. He was grinding. And so ultimately, I want to just give a shout out also to the grinders out here. Those of you that have those little small raggedy businesses that people are making fun of. Relatives will be like, so how's your little business going? How's that little business going that you got? Right. And then you just respond politely. You say, I don't know. Well, how's your little job? How's that little job you got? Hey, is your daddy still doing good? The daddy you work for, is your daddy all right? Right. Seriously. So a lot of y'all got those quote unquote little businesses that are looking raggedy as hell. And I just want you to understand that it's hard to look more raggedy than Bezos looked when he first got started with Amazon. And in fact, here's you have some old pictures of Amazon where it was. I mean, you talk about picture on the wall flips me out because I have a black business school flag on my wall, and it's nice and it's fancy and it's official looking. He literally spray painted Amazon.com on the wall and said, "This is my company." That's what it takes to believe in your vision. That's what it takes to create something. So more specifically, let's dig a little deeper into Bezos in terms of what's going on right now, what's going on with labor rights, and where I see this going. So one thing that's interesting about Bezos is I think that he always understood a really important thing about building wealth. The world hates clever people. The world just hates clever people. Even if you do things ethically and you do things as honestly as you can, which I'm not going to assume Bezos did or did not do that, but people are still going to be mad at you because because you did well, because you figured it out. You gamed the system. You figured out a way to get something out of it that other people can't. Right. So ultimately, but just by being rich, just by being successful, that's going to give you haters. Period. Right. So with Bezos, I think he understood this because he's always worked hard to try to control his image. If you notice, he also owns the Washington Post. I believe he bought the Washington Post and then after he bought the Washington Post, he bought this big mansion right in Capitol Hill. And I believe that the reason he bought the Washington Post and also bought this big mansion right near Capitol Hill is because he wanted to protect his image from the inevitable reality that people would eventually vilify him for having so much wealth. Now, one of the things that is problematic though is that he's being called out right now for what can be defined as various forms of worker oppression. Whenever workers at Amazon have tried to unionize, they have gone out of their way at Amazon to deliberately undermine the ability of workers to unite and come together, done sneaky little things. Like my wife told me a story about how they had some union folks that were talking to the Amazon workers on their way into work when they would stop at this stoplight. So Amazon, from what they claim, they allegedly had the stoplight taken out so that the workers wouldn't stop anymore to talk to the union workers. Or they would spy on the workers. That's been another allegation that they'll spy on the workers to make sure they can't unionize. And this is a problem, right? Where this comes from is this is capitalism. This is capitalism 101. Capitalism, unfortunately, because of Milton Friedman in the 1970s at the University of Chicago, he made the false, highly flawed assumption that the goal of the corporation should be to maximize shareholder wealth. That maximizing shareholder wealth should be the most important thing in the world. Now, at Amazon, what Bezos concluded, is that you maximize shareholder wealth by being customer obsessed. So that's one thing you can learn from Amazon about how to run a business. He was obsessed from the very beginning with making sure his customers were happy no matter what. So with Amazon, you're taking care of at least two of your stakeholders in the organization, the customer and the shareholder. But what you've forgotten about are your other stakeholders in the organization. You've got your workers and managers. You've got your suppliers. You've got your environment, among other stakeholders that exist within the company. So what's effectively occurred, in my view, is that Amazon is now hitting a point of no return where they've been vilified for the fact that while they made a ton of money for their shareholders, they have taken great care of their customers. They have a significant issue and an image problem when it comes to workers' rights. And I think this is going to ultimately cause Amazon to have some serious problems. Obviously they're going to be testifying on Capitol Hill. I think this recent tornado tragedy, where all those people were killed in the tornado in the Amazon plant, and then the simultaneously pictures of Bezos having a big party at his house. I've seen some of those pictures online. In addition to that, you've got the fact that he responded late. Some people are criticizing him for his late response to the tragedy, that he didn't really see it as big of a deal as it actually was. I think these things are going to cause Amazon and Bezos some serious problems. Now, what's happening here, in my view, is that all of this is occurring against the backdrop of a society that has for decades allowed the deterioration of workers' rights. The minimum wage has not been keeping up with inflation by any stretch of the imagination. Workers have been put in situations where they're not able to unionize and pull their capital together to achieve benefits that help everybody. I believe you could have done all this while still making lots of money for your shareholders, but it's greed that's ultimately going to cost us. I think that overall you have now the Great Resignation, which is to some extent a revolution. I wouldn't be surprised if it was linked to the left, right? I mean, far left. I'm talking about Antifa and communism and socialism and far left liberal ideology. But in this case, they're right. In this case, they're 100% right. Workers' rights have been destroyed, and we need to restore that. And so, the Great Resignation to me is a wonderful scenario in which you are allowing the worker to have a little bit of leverage that they did not have before. Now, with that said, though, that actually, in my view, slightly undermines the argument against Amazon. Because when I hear stories about workers having to pee in jars and how terrible the working conditions are at Amazon and how horrible it is to work there, I don't know anybody who works at Amazon who thinks that it's a slave ship. I just don't. I would just tell you, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying working at Amazon's great or that it's perfect, but I know a lot of people who work at Amazon who love the job. I know people who work at Amazon who feel good about their pay. I know workers who work at Amazon who are proud to be there. I know college students who are getting their tuition paid. So, and remember this, in the environment of the Great Resignation, there is there's competition for employees. We have almost full employment in this economy. So if Amazon workers hate the job, they can go get another job. They can go get. It's not like they have no choice. So the question I would ask in any work, and I ask this just to be honest and just to keep it 100 and try to be as fair as possible, is if the conditions at Amazon are so horrible, why don't you go work somewhere else? Because I can tell you, as a shareholder, as a person who's bought stock in Amazon and all that, if I don't like the returns I'm getting on the investment I make in Amazon, I go invest in another company. I take my capital elsewhere. Well, as a worker, maybe you don't have a lot of financial capital, but you've got human capital. Human capital is your skill. It's your effort. It's your work. It's your hours of your life. So you don't have to give that to Amazon. Who said, what law is there saying that you have to go work for Amazon? So I'm not sitting here trying to defend Jeff Bezos by any stretch. I think that Bezos handled this poorly. He should have been on the scene. He should have been right there at that factory when those people died. He should have been walking, doing a tour through the factory. He should be meeting with the families. He should be right on top of it. He should be showing that he actually cares. He did not do that. And they're going to eat his ass because of it. Like, they are literally, Congress is going to chew that man up and spit him out. And he's going to end up looking like a complete devil in front of the American public. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like he doesn't deserve that, because I think that we, particularly during the pandemic, got to a point where we cared about profits over people. Amazon was a huge beneficiary from the pandemic. I wasn't mad at them for it, but I was mad about the fact that they shut down a lot of local businesses to keep Amazon open and to keep Lowe's open and to keep Target open and to keep Walmart open and to keep McDonald's open. But you're shutting down local restaurants, the local businesses, all the local companies that could have done the same damn thing, but you're telling them you have to shut down because of COVID, but yet it's okay for Amazon and Target and Walmart to be open. What the hell is that, man? What is that? And I'm not even going to talk about what happened to the black businesses. I talked yesterday to some brothers down in Atlanta who told me down in Mobile, Alabama, where they talked to the Black Chamber of Commerce. They said 1/3 of the black businesses down there died during the pandemic. They died and could not come back because they could not get access to capital. They could not get access to the funding they needed to survive the downturn. That if you want to know what white supremacy looks like, if you want to know what racial inequality looks like, if you want to know what white privilege looks like, look at that. Look at that. The fact that black businesses can't even get capital to survive in a downturn, that's white privileges. Because let me just tell you like this, a company like Uber's still losing money last time I checked. Uber's still getting their butt kicked financially last time I checked. Uber could go for several years and lose like billions of dollars a year and still stay in business. How many of y'all know black businesses that can lose billions or even millions or even thousands of dollars a year and still be in business a decade later? How many of y'all know businesses like that in our community? You don't. They don't exist. Why? Well, because white people hog up all the capital. Well, they got you out here screaming Black Lives Matter and thinking that voting rights is the most important agenda item for your community so you can keep Joe Biden in power. They're not even giving you access to the money. So don't tell me Black Lives Matter. Give me the damn money. Give me access to the money, and then I'll figure out if my life matters or not. That's my decision to decide that, not you. So what I see, and again, I got to bring everything back to black people. I'm not here to talk about Bezos because I think he's some kind of hero. I'm really thinking about us and our people and what we can learn from this. So what I would say is that Bezos is rightfully going to be dealt with for not being a good corporate citizen. This whole false financial model that shareholder wealth matters more than any other variable is wrong. Milton Friedman, University of Chicago in the 1970s was wrong. His statement was not one, he claimed his statement was one based on fact and economic theory and science, when it was just based on white privilege, white male bias, elitism, and just pure ignorance. Pure ignorance. So I would encourage you as Black business owners, do not become capitalists. I do not want you to become hardcore capitalists. I want you to understand that when you have a business, there are several stakeholders in the business that should all be addressed and taken care of. You have your customers. You got to take care of your customers and you got to respect them. You have your shareholders. You got to make sure that the people who make the investment are making a good return on investment, or they're not going to want to invest their money. You've got your workers. You got to take care of your workers, because if you love them, they're going to love you back, and that allows you to have a better company. You got to take care of your suppliers. If you form good relationships with those that supply the products that you need in order to sell, then that will allow your business to flourish. And you also have to care about the environment. The environment, by environment for us, I'm talking about our community, our people. When you got it like that, yes, you do go make the donations and sponsor the local softball team. Yes, you do go and try to see if you can chip in on a scholarship for a young kid. Yes, you do go out here and help build independent Black-owned schools so we can educate our own. You go out here and make yourself into a good citizen in the community, so you're not just some rich asshole who doesn't care about anything other than other rich people. That's you don't want it. So while I say that I want your kids to be like Bezos, I'm really saying I don't want your kids to be like Bezos, because Bezos is not bad. He's impressive in a lot of ways. Super smart. Built an amazing company. I love when billionaires want to do crazy things like help humans live forever and go to Mars. I think that's the coolest stuff in the world. I really do. I'm super excited about that. Very good on that level. But when it comes to ethics, whoever told us, Gordon Gekko told you in the movie Wall Street back in the 1980s, he gave a famous speech where he said greed is good. Well, let me just tell you, just because a white man said it don't make it true. Just because a white man said it doesn't mean it's true. Greed is not good. And this is where I tell you guys, like, look, you can learn. I want you to learn everything you can learn from what you see in this society. I want you to learn from everybody, because there's lessons from everyone. White people are good at some things. You should pay attention to that. But one thing I don't believe that they're very good at is ethics and morals. I think we got the monopoly on that. I believe that in our community we operate at a little bit of more of an ethical position than other communities. And so Gordon Gekko, there's a picture of him from the movie Wall Street. He gave a great famous speech called Greed is Good, and the white boys all ate it up. They thought it was the best speech ever. And that justified 30, 40 years of continuous corporate greed that was sanctioned by the US government in the form of allowing rich people to get away without paying taxes while the rest of the country suffered, creating a massive wealth gap that is going to cripple America for centuries. I do not want you to embrace that ideology. I want you to learn from them in terms of building business, but do not learn from them when it comes to ethics and morals, because all of this is dead flat out wrong. So that's my 2 cents on the issue. Thank you for listening. Please feel free to follow Financial Juneteenth on Instagram. That's an Instagram page I have as a backup, because I think that my Boyce Watkins page got shadow banned because I talk about a lot of Black stuff, and they it's their platform, so they don't really like that stuff too much. So feel free to follow at Financial Juneteenth, and also if you want to learn more about my stock market investing class, and also we're doing the Dr. Boyce book club tomorrow, where we're reading Black Labor, White Wealth by Dr. Claude Anderson. You can go to boycewatkins.com to join the book club or join class or whatever it is that you want to do. I can help you. I have my PhDs in finance. That's what I do. But I also collaborate with dozens and dozens and dozens of experts from your community who have done billions of dollars in transactions, who are experts in their field. And I believe our people should be teaching our people. Our people should be teaching our people. I don't like the idea of a Black kid going $200,000 in debt to learn from people who are not Black, who don't even want them at the campus in the first place. Feel free to check out the Black Business School. We got you. We got you 100%. So take care, guys. Love you. God bless you. Please hit the thumbs up button on your way out. If you could, subscribe, all that good stuff. I will check in with you guys again soon. And I'll keep you posted on what's going on with Amazon as well. Talk to you later. Love you. Peace.